Hello, I'm Matt, a 33-year-old individual whose life took an unexpected turn after a mere 2 years of marriage to Lori, my now ex-wife at the age of 26. Reflecting on the past, the sadness lingers as Lori, once the cornerstone of our shared dreams and promises, played a significant role in dismantling the life we had built together. Our story began at a mutual friend's wedding in my hometown, where serendipity brought Lori and me together. Both hailing from the same state, we attended the wedding as the groom was a close friend from my high school days, and Lori happened to be related to the bride, making them cousins. That fateful day marked the inception of our relationship, a journey that ultimately led us down a path of joy and heartbreak. Over the course of a year, we transitioned from dating to marriage. Lori, a dedicated nurse, and I, a data analyst, found stability in our professions, contributing to our financial well-being. Initially, considering our union as one of the best things to happen to me, I couldn't have foreseen the heartbreak that lay ahead. Our lives appeared nearly perfect. We functioned as a team, adeptly balancing our hectic schedules. Whether it was sharing meals, navigating daily routines, or embarking on journeys together, Lori and I were inseparable. Even our decision to postpone starting a family for the first 2 years of marriage was a mutual one, allowing us to savor moments without the interruption of parenthood. Our intimacy thrived, and our connection deepened. Despite occasional mood swings and moments of solitude, our understanding and commitment to each other fostered a harmonious household. The only significant discord arose when I discovered Lori engaging in a conversation with a man on Instagram, who was evidently attempting to woo her. My anger was not directed at the man but at Lori for allowing the interaction to escalate into sensuality. Despite her assurance that it was harmless fun and her subsequent blocking of the man, the incident left a mark on our relationship. As a person who valued discipline and commitment, I made it a point to sever ties with anyone or anything that even remotely tempted me to stray from my marital vows. This resolve was born from past experiences of being betrayed, an emotional wound that took considerable time to heal. I was determined not to inflict similar pain on Lori or anyone else. Complicating matters, my personal life was intertwined with the struggles of my father, who was battling a terminal illness. The challenges on both fronts, personal and familial, created a complex tapestry of emotions and circumstances that would shape the trajectory of my life in unforeseen ways. For years, I maintained a consistent routine of visiting my father twice a month, acknowledging his deteriorating health. Despite hiring a personal nurse, his condition continued to worsen. Around the second year of my marriage to Lori, I found myself confronted with a disheartening situation during one of my regular weekend visits to my father. The encounter left me with a lingering sense of inadequacy as a son, prompting me to question if my efforts were sufficient. Troubled by these thoughts, upon returning home, I broached the idea with Lori about having my father move in with us. Being an only child and with my mother having passed away 5 years prior due to heart issues, my father had no one else to care for him. Given the state of his declining health, I believed it would be beneficial for him to be close to family. Motivated by the realization that his days might be numbered, Lori eventually agreed after my persistent persuasion, and I felt a sense of relief. My happiness, however, was short-lived as I soon discovered a shift in dynamics between Lori and me after my father moved in. Despite initial efforts by Lori to spend time with and care for my ailing father, a few weeks later, her attitude took a complete turn. I observed her increasingly ignoring him and treating him with an inexplicable distance, as if he were an outcast. While I initially attributed her behavior to exhaustion from work, it became apparent that even on her days off, Lori displayed a blatant disregard for my father's presence. On some occasions, she would spend the entire day without bothering to check on him or inquire about his well-being. Her focus shifted to indulging in television or engrossing herself with her phone, often culminating in socializing with friends or visiting her family, seemingly indifferent to the situation at home. This transformation in Lori's demeanor left me perplexed and concerned, prompting a deeper reflection on the complexities that arose from the convergence of familial responsibilities and the strains they placed on our relationship. In the midst of this tumultuous situation, I decided to confront Lori about her inexplicable change in behavior, and what unfolded left me utterly astounded. To my face, she callously asserted that my father's deteriorating health was solely my concern, dismissing any responsibility on her part. What struck me with a profound sense of disbelief was her audacious declaration that she no longer wanted my father in the house, citing his supposed spread of disease and her aversion to the smell of elderly individuals. The irony of her disdain for the scent of old people, considering her profession as a hospital worker, was not lost on me. It was a shocking revelation, one that I never anticipated and, undoubtedly, left me disappointed. As if her blatant disregard for my father's well-being wasn't enough, Lori took it a step further by complaining about the supposed stench of medicine and dirt permeating our home. She asserted her preference for spending time outside with colleagues and friends, implying that she refused to return to a home that resembled a hospital. This abrupt change in attitude not only strained her relationship with my ailing father but also cast a dark shadow over our marriage. While I acknowledged the challenges posed by having an elderly, sick relative under our roof, I expected empathy and understanding from Lori. Struggling to maintain a delicate balance between work, caring for my father, and preserving our marriage, I sought to navigate this challenging period without losing the woman I loved. However, Lori's actions spoke louder than her promises. Her declaration of spending more time outside due to my father's presence, initially dismissed as a bluff, soon became a disheartening reality. She began staying out late, returning home as late as 1 o'clock a.m. A far cry from the agreed-upon 7 o'clock p.m. curfew. Initially, she attributed these late nights to socializing at a bar with friends, losing track of time, but soon enough, it evolved into a habitual pattern. Frustration mounted as Lori's explanations became more implausible, ranging from covering for a sick colleague to voluntarily working extra hours. As her newfound lifestyle persisted, our marital discord escalated. We found ourselves embroiled in frequent and heated arguments. Lori's insolence and the hurling of hurtful words became increasingly common, causing further strain on our already fragile relationship. The turmoil created by the convergence of familial responsibilities and marital expectations reached a breaking point, leaving me grappling with the realization that the woman I loved was slipping away amidst the chaos. In the face of even the slightest provocation, Lori exhibited an alarming tendency to initiate fights, often in the presence of my ailing father, further exacerbating the strained atmosphere at home. Adding to the mounting challenges, she abruptly ceased engaging in domestic responsibilities, relinquishing cooking, dishwashing, and house cleaning entirely to me. Her nights became a realm of uninterrupted sleep, while her mornings were marked by an early departure, leaving me to shoulder the burdens of maintaining our home alone. This disintegration of our shared responsibilities extended to her social life, as she decided to no longer invite friends and relatives home, justifying her decision with the unfounded fear of infecting them with my father's ailment. Amidst this turmoil, Lori dropped the bombshell of planning a week-long vacation with her nurse colleagues, a proposition I vehemently opposed, given the crumbling state of our marriage. Despite my objections and the palpable disappointment I expressed, she proceeded with her plans, leaving me feeling abandoned in a time when I needed her support the most. Upon her return, the gulf between us had widened to an extent that left me seething with anger. A week of silence, coupled with her nonchalant flaunting of vacation snapshots on social media, painted a stark picture of a woman detached from the marital bonds we once shared. My frustration reached a breaking point, and in a fit of rage, I demanded she leave and return to where she came from. Astonishingly, without a hint of remorse, Lori packed her belongings and vacated the premises, shattering my heart with her indifference. Days elapsed without a single gesture of apology or reconciliation from Lori. In the absence of her concern for me or my ailing father, I relied on the caregiver to alleviate the burden of my father's care, granting me the opportunity to redirect my focus elsewhere. However, the void left by Lori's absence weighed heavily on my psyche, prompting me to set aside my pride and initiate contact with her. Faced with her unwillingness to answer my calls, I ventured to the hospital where she worked, hoping for a face-to-face conversation. After our discussion, she reluctantly agreed to return home, and though some may label me as feeble or a pushover, the depth of my loneliness and love for Lori propelled me to seek reconciliation. In the days that followed, I made earnest attempts to mend our fractured relationship, going to great lengths to please her. I served her breakfast in bed, apologized for any perceived inconveniences caused by my father's presence, and hoped for a return to normalcy. Yet, my efforts only seemed to exacerbate the situation. As Lori slipped away from the house once again, leaving me grappling with the harsh reality of a love that seemed irreparably fractured. Confronted with Lori's dismissive attitude towards our marriage, she callously declared, "Do whatever you want to do. I'm not changing my mind about us," delivering a decisive blow to any hopes of reconciliation. In the midst of this emotional turmoil, her behavior took an alarming turn as she unabashedly showcased her nightlife escapades on social media, posting pictures of herself reveling in nightclubs, indulging in drinks, and puffing on cigarettes with her girlfriends. Adding to the disintegration of our relationship, she adopted a more provocative wardrobe, donning seductive and revealing attire. Despite these distressing developments, I clung to the belief that our marriage could be salvaged, clinging to a sliver of hope until a damning video shattered my illusions. One fateful night, a close friend of Lori's posted a video on Instagram, capturing the revelry of their night out. In the disheartening footage, Lori was seen passionately making out with a man, his hand brazenly exploring the confines of her skirt. The shocking revelation hit me like a tidal wave, forcing me to confront the painful reality that Lori's change in behavior, late-night escapades, and defiance were all indicative of infidelity. Rather than succumbing to heartbreak, a surge of anger and disappointment enveloped me. I discreetly saved the incriminating video on my Instagram, biding my time for Lori's return. As anticipated, she did not come home that night, and when questioned the following day, she offered no plausible explanation, choosing instead to ignore my inquiries. The weight of evidence suggested she was entangled in an affair. Recognizing Lori's adeptness with words, I embarked on a quest for irrefutable proof. During one of her deep slumbers, I discreetly accessed her phone with her fingerprint, uncovering a disconcerting revelation. Lori was actively engaged on 3 different dating apps, crafting diverse profiles expressing a desire for fun and new connections. This discovery blindsided me, but the revelations did not end there. A WhatsApp group chat, comprising the same ladies from her recent vacation, revealed a sordid exchange. Astonishingly, Lori was the only married member, and the group delved into explicit discussions, teasing one another about their romantic encounters. Further exploration disclosed Lori's admission of engaging in intimate relations with 2 men during her fancy vacation, proclaiming the encounters as among the best experiences in bed. Haunted by the nightmarish reality unfolding before me, I struggled to come to terms with the depth of Lori's betrayal. Confronting her about the evidence, she exhibited no remorse, choosing instead to deflect blame onto me for infringing on her privacy. The revelation of her infidelity pierced through the remnants of our shattered marriage, leaving me grappling with the harsh truth that the woman I once loved had embarked on a path of betrayal and deceit. Discovering Lori's infidelity with multiple men was a devastating blow, yet instead of remorse, she audaciously shifted blame onto me, asserting that I had pushed her into her unfaithful actions. In a surreal twist, she even proposed an ultimatum, demanding that I choose between her and my ailing father, an absurd proposition considering the depths of her betrayal. I promptly dismissed such preposterous claims, asserting that our marriage was irreparably damaged by her actions, and I unceremoniously kicked her out of my house. Amidst her attempts to downplay the gravity of her actions and salvage the remains of our shattered relationship, I made it unequivocally clear that there was no room for reconciliation. The irony of her expecting me to beg for her return, as I had done in the past, wasn't lost on me. Taking decisive action, I swiftly initiated legal proceedings, enlisting the services of a divorce lawyer, eager to bring closure to this tumultuous chapter of my life. Regarding the feedback and advice received, I express my gratitude to everyone for their insightful comments. When I entered into marriage with Lori, I never fathomed that her profession, nursing, would be associated with a heightened risk of infidelity. It's crucial to clarify that my sentiments are not an indictment of all nurses, rather, it's an acknowledgement that individuals, regardless of their profession, may tarnish its reputation through their actions. Addressing suggestions that a lengthier dating period might have revealed red flags, I must emphasize that 1 year of dating felt sufficient. Our love for each other fostered a sense of trust, and the betrayal I experienced was beyond anything I could have foreseen. Additionally, I reject the notion that my father's need for care was a catalyst for Lori's unfaithfulness. I believed that welcoming him into our home would provide a supportive environment, just as I would have done for any of her parents. Providing a recent update, my lawyer initiated the divorce proceedings by sending her the necessary papers. Remarkably, after 3 weeks of silence, during which she made no attempt to contact me. Lori's response became notably intense upon receiving the divorce papers. In a phone call 2 days ago, she tearfully expressed remorse, contending that her actions were driven by a desire for exploration rather than an intention to inflict harm. Despite her plea for a different resolution, I remain resolute in pursuing the divorce, seeking closure and moving forward from this tumultuous chapter in my life. Any further advice and insights are sincerely appreciated. Refusing to endure any more of Lori's excuses and manipulations, I abruptly ended our call as she attempted to rationalize her actions and place the blame on me. Even if she hadn't engaged in infidelity, her callous neglect of my ailing father and her blatant refusal to acknowledge his plight was enough to wound me deeply. Somehow, the idea of divorcing her didn't seem sufficient to inflict upon her the pain that had consumed me. In my pursuit of retribution, I concocted a plan that involved getting close to one of Lori's closest friends, Adriana, who had recently posted a live video on Instagram. Adriana, sympathetic to my situation, came over to assist with caring for my father on her day off, and, unexpectedly, we ended up sharing a bed. Acknowledging that some might perceive my actions as unconventional or reprehensible, I found solace in the fact that my circumstances were inexplicable. Lori's betrayal, coupled with my father's dire condition, left me grappling with a tumultuous reality. As a form of revenge, I contemplated the idea of capturing a photo of Adriana and me in bed and sending it to Lori, but I hesitated, questioning the maturity of such a response. Simultaneously, I took the initiative to inform Lori's family of our impending divorce, ensuring they were aware of the disappointment she had wrought upon them. Lori's mother, expressing disappointment, attempted to salvage the marriage, invoking notions of endurance and commitment, but I adamantly refused to endure a relationship tainted by betrayal. Feeling compelled to share my story on this platform was a testament to the unexpected turns life had taken. Lori's resistance to signing the divorce papers prompted me to anticipate providing an update once the legal proceedings unfolded. In the second update, I expressed gratitude for the comments received, clarifying that my connection with Adriana was not a rebound but rather a relationship built on friendship with benefits and mutual respect. Lori's reaction to a Facebook photo of Adriana and me, posted 3 weeks ago, unleashed a flurry of voicemails where she accused me of seeking revenge and emotional manipulation. Lori's attempts to reconcile by reminding me of our promises and claiming readiness for a fresh start fell on deaf ears. Exasperated by her incessant voicemails, I enlisted my lawyer's help to remind her of the pending divorce papers. Lori's unannounced visit the next day, coinciding with Adriana's presence at my home, escalated into a scene where Lori attempted to physically confront Adriana. Fed up with the disturbance, I demanded Lori leave, making it clear that reconciliation was off the table. In response, Lori, in a fit of anger, signed the divorce papers, tossed them at me, and stormed out. Relieved to have her out of my life, I reflected on the tumultuous journey and filed a restraining order against Lori due to her attempt at physical assault. Appreciative of the support and suggestions received, I expressed gratitude to the audience and promised to keep an eye on the comments.